Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church in Columbia, South Carolina, where we're part of the ELCA. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. In my 38 years of ministry, I have prepared and led Bible studies on many of the books of the Bible, but until recently, I had never led a study of 2 Corinthians. So last year, that's what I did. We learned several things, and one of those was that St. Paul's relationship with the church in Corinth was difficult. He cared deeply about that church and was called on to address issues that arose there several times. In fact, most scholars believe that the book of 2 Corinthians includes at least 3 letters that Paul wrote to the church at Corinth, possibly 4, and maybe 5. He cared so much about that church that when problems arose, even when they were about Paul himself, he continued to care for them, to pastor them, and to point them anew to Jesus. This week we are once again taking part in our year-long series of looking at great men and women of faith that the church remembers each month. And today the struggles at Corinth take center stage again as we look at an individual named Clement of Rome. Actually, the biographical details of Clement's life are meager. In Philippians 4 verse 3, St. Paul has an interesting comment. He writes, "I urge Euodia and Syntyche to be of the same mind in the Lord. Yes, and I ask you also, my loyal companion, help these women, for they have struggled beside me in the work of the gospel, together with Clement and the rest of my co-workers whose names are in the book of life." It is possible that the Clement referred to by St. Paul here is the same person we now know as Clement of Rome, but no one can be sure. Clement was probably the 4th bishop of Rome, and he died probably about the year 100. There are some great legends about Clement that appear centuries later. One of them holds that he was banished to the Crimea during the reign of Trajan and forced to work in the mines. Nevertheless, his missionary work there met with great success. On another occasion, he was tied to an anchor and thrown into the Black Sea. His tomb, the legend continues, was built by angels and was shown once a year to the faithful of that region by a miraculous ebbing of the tide. Despite the lack of any certain knowledge of Clement's life, he is of considerable importance as an apostolic father. These were important leaders in the early church. Clement's fame rests largely on a letter sent by the church at Rome to the church at Corinth. It appears that once again the Corinthian church was split by factions among the people. Some dissatisfied younger members deposed their church leaders. First Clement, as the letter is known, is a pastoral letter of advice and warning, and while it is written anonymously, all agree that it is the work of Clement. It gives a valuable picture of the early Roman Christianity. The letter was well received in Corinth and was in fact so honored there that it was read aloud in the Corinthian church along with the scriptures at least 70 years later. Several early manuscripts of the New Testament included among the books of the New Testament. Clement's letter is the earliest writing from Christianity that we have other than the New Testament itself. Perhaps the message to us is that just as St. Paul and just as Clement never gave up on the fractious, difficult, troublesome church in Corinth, just so God doesn't give up on us. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.